Hey everyone, it's Carla Lynn Hall from Internet Famous VIP, and I teach people how to make online courses. It is Saturday, April April 27th. Saturday. It's Saturday, April 27th, and I am in the mood to drop some wisdom today. That some of the stuff has been on my mind, and I haven't been live streaming in a while, but that's going to change because I have a lot of other things going on. So Beyonce has been on my mind for so many reasons, but if you didn't know, bam, I just got engaged to Jim Keys, my partner. And so we've been singing a lot of, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. If you like it, then you get it. So that has been on my mind, and we've all been singing it. And I just love Beyonce in general. So I had this idea, or this idea came to me, and I wanted to share it with you because I can find all kinds of applications and analogies for online business. So I'm going to throw one out there. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen my videos yet, I have started a new video series with Game of Thrones. I have online business lessons inspired by Game of Thrones. So if you're interested, I already have the first one on Daenerys Targaryen. And hey there, whoever's tuned in. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's Jim, of course. Anyway, so I have these videos, a series of videos of online business lessons inspired by the Game of Thrones. And if you want to see the first one, you can go to internetfamousvip.com/Daenerys. I will write the link down below so you can access it. I'm going to be doing one for some of my favorite Game of Thrones characters. But before we get into that, this video is about Beyonce. Wow. Oh, actually, and Jim is calling me his fiance. All right. Let's get down to business. So last year, Beyonce headlined the Coachella Festival, and it became known as the Baychella Festival because she really tore it up. And her show, in great part, paid tribute to historically Black colleges and universities, their culture, from their marching bands to the majorette dancers to fraternity pledge steppers. There's a whole bunch of African-American culture that was captured in this performance, and it was just amazing. And there were all these people on the stage, and she had this marching band for, and then there was all these dancers, and it was just, and she had several costume changes. It was just so elaborate, and I cried through most of it. I was able to see it live, and Jim happened to walk in, and I was just like, because it was awesome. It was just so inspiring. So here it is. A year later, she dropped a surprise album. So this is last week, April 17th, almost a week ago, a little more than a week ago, she dropped, and because now this year it's Coachella just came out, and Ariana Grande headlined. But we're still talking about Baychella here, because it was so good that they nicknamed Coachella after, Beyonce. So anyway, a year later, on the 17th of April, 2019, Beyonce dropped a surprise album and a concert film documentary of the 8 months that created that led up to this performance. And I haven't even seen it yet. Because I know it's going to blow my mind. And I feel like, well, for one thing, I'm currently right now on deadline to submit a podcast for, a new thing that I'm working on. And I probably shouldn't even be doing this right now, but I'm so fired up, I had to talk about it. So I feel like I'm not really going to be able to handle this concert film documentary, but it's going to be my treat. Like when I finish my podcast submission, then I will go ahead and get to finally watching Beyonce's Homecoming CD. So that's actually what it's called. It's called Homecoming. It's the name of the CD, or CD. Do we still use CDs? Of the album. I don't know what you call it. Whatever you call it. It's like 26 songs or something like that she released. And so she made a concert album, and she made this documentary which is so it's a concert film plus all the back of her documentation of the 8 months that led up to this performance. Now, if you know anything about this performance, Beyonce was originally supposed to do this concert a year previously, but because she was pregnant with twins, her doctor said that, really wasn't going to be a good idea. So she had to back out. So she was disappointed, but what she ended up doing was saying, okay, I'll do it next year, but she planned. So after she had the babies, she had to like get her body back, and she had to do a lot of, just a lot of preparation to be ready to do that show. You can't do that show in just like a 6-week preparation. There are just too many moving parts. So someone recently posted a meme on Instagram, and it said something to the effect of, when you think that Beyonce spent 8 months preparing for a show that only lasted 2 hours, you have to understand her work ethic. And on the surface, that's like, wow, that's great. Yeah, that's work ethic. But then I'm like, wait a second. No. She's doing one of my favorite things to do when we're talking about creating content. All that 8 months, she wasn't preparing just for 2 hours. When you realize that she's released an album and a documentary based on this performance, she was creating a performance for the ages, for a lifetime. There's so many people who are going to be affected by this album, by this concert, by this documentary, like by all of that stuff. And actually people who have seen it already, who have been talking about how much it has inspired them. And they talk about when they saw Beyonce, they saw her desire to become a better person, to get better at her craft, that it didn't make them feel bad about themselves, that it made them feel like, how can I be better? How can I become, how can I be the best me that I can be? And that is really what we want. We want to inspire other people by example. And that is so powerful. So yeah, I know I'm going to see this video at some point. And when I do, I'll probably do another video. But just thinking about it, the concept of Beyonce wasn't creating this, she wasn't going through all of this effort just for a 2-hour show. She knew on some level, no, she had to, because the thing is, she planned it. There's planning all over this. If you look behind all of the glitz and the glamour, you had to notice that she had to make a lot of plans ahead of time. She knew that she was going to be, so instead of like clearing any kind of publishing rights for any of the covers that she was doing, she wasn't just doing it for that night. She was getting clearances to put it on her album, her forthcoming concert film. So she probably did all of that at the same time, like planned all of that the same time. So it wasn't just about a 2-hour show. It was about making another huge statement and using that content that she was creating so that she could create more content from that. So long story short, it's 8 minutes and 28 seconds into this video. This video is about repackaging your content. How can you repackage your content? Because that's what Beyonce is basically doing. She didn't just create one show and just call it a day. She created this one show, but she documented stuff. So that's the first thing. Especially if you're using Facebook, you're using social media to get your word out there, think about documenting. This is something that Gary Vaynerchuk talks about, Gary V. He says, don't just create, document. Talk about your process. Show us that. And that's how we get to know you over time, by the videos that you share, by the podcasts that you share, the blog posts that you share while you are while you're on your way. Think about that. So I had some tips. I have a lot of tips on how you can repackage your content. So that's really what this video is about. Let's see, what do I have for you? Oh, actually, I also have a new email course, and that is where this list is going to come from. I have a new email course on how you can create an online course in 30 days. So if you want to check that out, the link for that is internetfamousvip.com/GOT, as in Game of Thrones, because that's where I'm sending everyone. So yeah, and I'll put the link down below as well. So I had some ideas. All right. So when you when you're creating content, as I said, document. Just like, so one easy way to create content is to document things as you go. Now, when you want to create content that you can reuse again, start thinking before you create the content. Like, for example, if you could say, if you could think in terms of themes, like say, like last year I did May is for marketing, and every day in May I would do a live stream about some kind of marketing tip. So that was and that's content that I can use again, but that's also me creating a theme, because that way, instead of thinking, okay, on this day I'm going to do something about email, and then another day I'm thinking about this is going to be about sales pages, how about maybe create a whole month about that? And then I could, create a whole bunch of content on that one particular theme and just share it all month long. And the thing is, when someone checks out your Facebook pages, they might not be on your email list, or they might not follow you on Instagram. So the thing is, you can take all of that content and just kind of rejigger it, re-edit it a little bit, so that you have this really great content, but featured in different forms for the different social networks that you're, that you're on. So as my course is talking about, my mini course is telling you how to create an online course. A lot of times people want to figure out, like, how do I get the content? How do I create this course? Where do I get the content from? And you could definitely create stuff new, but you might actually have content already that you could use again. So that's what I want to talk about today. So I have some lists of places where you can get content that you might already have. And this is one of the best ways to create content quickly. Find content that you've already created. If you've already been, blogging and stuff, you have content. So here are my list. Here are some of the things you can do. Check your hard drive for old content that was created but never published. Like, if you're anything like me, I often have a lot of ideas for things that just don't totally get finished, or maybe it's not totally complete, but I save stuff everywhere, So if you go into your hard drive and you're like, oh yeah, there was that article I wrote, but I never really finished it, or it never really caught on, there might be something that you can use now. Okay, another one, popular posts from your blog that can be expanded. So if you've been checking like your analytics on your blog, and you see that you have certain posts that are really popular and people are looking for it, well, how about expanding that content in your course? That's a really great way to do it. Speeches can be transcribed into course lessons. So if you're a public speaker and you have, videos of you giving a talk, those can be transcribed. You can transcribe just the audio part, or you could also, if you have videos of your speaking engagements, those can also be edited into video lessons. Now, by the way, if you want to get your speeches or your videos transcribed, there's a company called rev.com, and I think the rate might be something like $1 a minute, or I think it's like $1 a minute. And transcribing can be a real pain in the butt if you're not a good, typist or, transcriptionist, and it's really a pain in the butt. So using someone like Rev, or using the company like Rev, can save you a lot of time. And let's see, when you offer great advice in Facebook groups, or like on Facebook, copy and paste your content that you've created somewhere, like on an online notepad, and that you could find it and use it later. Like, I tend to write really long comments in the different Facebook groups I'm in. And sometimes I'm like, you know what, that was good. I like that. And instead of just leaving it, I copy it and I stick it in an Evernote. And that way I could use it again for a future blog post, or it might end up being a paragraph, or it might be something in a course, So I try to keep I try to keep an eye on the stuff that I'm writing, even when I'm not creating a course, because I can use that content again. Let's see, what else do I have here? Old videos and audios can be transcribed into text for lessons. Again, it's a transcription. You can use videos and transcribe them, or convert them into audio lessons, and even podcasts. So that's something else to think about. You might have old blog posts that you like. They can become scripts for video lessons, and longer videos can be re-edited into smaller video clips. And previous digital content that you've created, you can rebundle it into a new course. So this whole point I'm talking about is repackage, reuse, recycle, create some content once, and then continue using it. And that's basically what Beyonce has been doing, or that's what she's doing with this particular record. She's a force of nature, and this is just such a really great example of what you can do with your content. So create it once and use it again and again and again. Just be like Beyonce and me. If you like it, then you should put a ring on it. If you like it, then you should put... Okay, you get the idea. Anyway, I gotta go work on my podcast, and it's 15 minutes. All right, it's not so bad. I hope you all have a great day. And again, if you want to check out my email course, it's at internetfamousvip.com/GOT. And if you haven't seen my Game of Thrones videos, check out the first one on Daenerys Targaryen, and you can find that at internetfamousvip.com/Daenerys. I will put the links down below, and you can check them out. So I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.